Okay, so here we go, video number 2. Just a couple of last things to clean up concerning stemming against zone coverages. So I did not discuss the fact, and we did talk about apexing and matched up defenders on number 2. So if that's the case, and you're playing that number 2 receiver, that's going to have to be a steeper climb. And again, you've only got 3 steps. Don't waste time. One of the most important parts of this is getting vertically, getting into the route, the stem of your route, downfield, and not wasting time moving side to side. But if we can't get open at the end, then it doesn't matter. So again, this defender is apex. We're looking at the slant route. So look, I'm stepping hard in. I'm driving it for 3 steps, and I'm hoping that I can win that leverage. Winning leverage, climbing, winning the shoulder side to the side that the route is going to. I'm going to stick and nod, and then I'm going to run my slant route. And again, whenever you have cover 3, cover 3 in here, they've apexed. You get 2 more linebackers in here. So where's the grass at? Now listen to your coaches. Don't let me talking into something that you're not supposed to do. But as I come up and I stick this route, I've climbed it. 3-step slants can be about 4 to 5 yards. I've stuck it, and I'm trying to run the grass, And so there's play action. There's different things that can open up. And if you were running this route and they've given you this, then we know now that, as a coach, as a receiver, man, this outside route now is just wide open because they've apexed. Everybody's inside, so now we got to attack more to the outside. And so that's against an apex defender from at the number 2 position. This is the number 2 receiver to the inside. If we get something else again, so now we're running we ran the slant route. We beat them on that. Now coach is called. Now he's called. Some kind of a out go concept. So now we're stemming. It's a 3-step out. I'm bursting up to the shoulder side that I want to win to, and now I can run that out. Because what happens, just like this. If he doesn't give ground on my stem, then we know that, okay, the slant's there. And then once he starts to give ground to try to play the slant, so I'm going to give that up to the inside, and that's cool, I get it. But there's other things. The stem's always the stem against medium to off coverage zone coverages. It all works together. Work your stem. Work your stem to the shoulder side that you want to go to. Outside shoulder for outside routes, inside shoulder for inside routes. And make sure that you communicate this with your coaches. If this is not a part of their philosophy, said, listen, I'm trying to stem up, I'm trying to work for this shoulder, and they may call you off of it immediately. I'm just talking about within my system, my concepts. This is how we want to operate. And the last thing that I want to talk about, and we will move to man coverage, press coverage. I'm sorry. Do not drift on any kind of a 90-degree route. So looking back at the X again, it doesn't matter. We've got soft inside coverage, inside leverage. I'm running a 5 out, I'm running a 10 out, I'm running a 10 dig, whatever the case may be, don't drift. So just real quick, and we're going to move on. I'm going to stem up. I'm going to run an 8 yard out. So I'm looking for my landmarks. If I haven't talked about that on the very short game, the quick game, you're really talking about steps, but for here, man, I've got an 8 yard route. I'm counting 5 yards. I'm saying this is my landmark at this line, or about right here. So that's my landmark. I've got to process all this very quickly on my out. I'm stemming up, bursting up to 8 yards to the side that I want to win. And this is the part about drifting. Now I'm running my out route. It's away from the defender. You will see a lot of young players, even some high school players, as they run this route, they're going to drift. And so what happens is that allows this guy to close on that route and or to get under that route. So do not drift. If anything, you want to come back away from the defender. I like being flat down the line anymore. I used to teach that you come downhill more like this. I feel like whenever you come up into this route, you stem, you burst, you stick and head nod, you can get some hip turn from your defender. And at this point, if we've done a really good job, be that if this is cover 4, cover 3, and or even man coverage, I feel like this is just really going to take care of itself. But more than anything, don't drift. Your coaches may like you coming more down and away from that defender. I think that's perfectly fine too. And when you catch it, you're going to become an athlete. In all cases, as a receiver, meet the ball. Some will say high point the ball. I would tell you close point the ball, meet the ball. If you're watching and waiting on the ball, it is, you know, whatever, like a pop-up in center field, and you're waiting for it, and you don't close point it, you don't go meet it, highest point, close point, then somebody else is going to take it from you or knock it down. That's just the bottom line. So you always want to meet the ball, know your situation, meet the ball, close point the ball, don't drift on these 90-degree routes. And I think we've covered all components for now of zone coveraging. Zone coverage is how to face zone coverage, no matter if that's a soft leverage, inside, outside. If that's an apex defender, which we see for number 2. Again, remember, apex means they split the difference. They're not matched up. And again, you can have soft inside, soft outside. They could be head up. This is apexed. This is more of a matched up head up defender from your linebacker position. And we haven't even looked at some of the weird stuff that you see from a 3-3-5, 4-2, a 4-2-5 defense. So there's lots of variations out there. So now, moving on to man coverage, or let me even say it this way, moving on to press coverage. So even this can be man coverage. They can play off man. They can play at 5 yards. It could be medium. They could play it even softer at 6. And I've done this in the past. And like, okay, we're going to give this up underneath. It's 4th and 15. We're going to play off man coverage. Or maybe this is just who they are. And that's perfectly okay. So all of the stemming and all that stuff still applies whenever you have medium to off coverage, inside or outside leverage. We're going to stem, burst, stick, and nod. So you understand how that works. It doesn't matter. Again, looking at the out route. So I'm stemming up here for the out route. In this case, my lines are going to be a little bit different just simply because now I'm stemming up the out route. So these are 2 different stems. Those are 2 different stems because of 2 different positions from the defender. And again, I forgot about the stick and nod. And this is going to set up your defender for different routes on down the road. But now looking at press coverage, and it could be, maybe it's press zone, maybe you have a hard corner playing cover 2. But whatever the case may be, we're going to look at some releases against press coverage. And typically it's going to be man. So let's say that we've got just maybe a head up's going to be typical. Press coverage, you're going to typically see this right here. I don't know how much you're going to see this in middle school, but you're going to find somebody at some point in your career that's going to give you press coverage, inside leverage. You're just going to see it. Now, if you get cover 2, you may get that guy trying to funnel you into the hash to your one of your safeties. I get it, but this is going to be pretty typical for your press coverage. This is what you're going to see. So the first thing that you're going to look at, the various types of releases, and I would probably encourage you to choose 1 or 2. And as you listen to this, watch it, maybe even take notes. You can find out what's best for you, and it depends on the route to a certain degree as well. And so looking at, again, the 3 slant and the 3 out. So what we're going to look at right now for the 3 slant is we're just going to try to win right now. What you can expect from this press coverage is that they're going to try to collision you. We've came to the line of scrimmage. I've surveyed the defense. My hands are already up. I've prayed, then I've released. That's what my hands look like, clasped and released. So I'm already ready to engage. I'm lower than this individual. He's not going to out-leverage me. It doesn't matter if I'm 6'4". I'm going to try to get lower than this guy because we know low equals leverage. But this guy's coming up here. He's trying to knock me off the ball. He's trying to be more nasty, more physical than me, and I'm not going to allow it. I'm going to get underneath his chin, underneath his shoulder pads, underneath his helmet. So now I'm looking in at the ball. He's not looking in at the ball because if he does, he can't watch me. So you're going to have the jump on him in that degree. So don't be afraid to look in at the ball. If he's looking in at the ball, he's playing man, he's messing up. I don't think he can do that. Maybe somebody's trying to play it in between. I think that's very risky. So again, we're looking at the ball, we're watching the snap. So you're going to have the jump on him with that. So here is the 3 slant. We're just going to swim move right now. We're saying we're going to win right now. 3 slant. So what's going to happen? He's going to try to jam you, and so I'm trying to go right. I'm going to take my right hand, and if he's got both his arms up, I'm going to hit above his elbow. Bam! I'm coming across with my hand, with my forearm, boom, across his arms, and I always want to go underneath. You start going over top, you can get off balance, you lose your leverage. We know that low is what? Low equals leverage. So bam, he's trying to jam me. His hands are trying to come under my chest. Boom. taking my hand across his arm and arms, followed by my forearm, boom, and I'm ripping my outside arm underneath all of that. If you can visualize that, I apologize. And now, bam, once I've done that, I'm gonna climb up into my route. We know we have a 3-step slant. If he is able to hang with me, and if they're playing this coverage, he probably can. I've won the swim, go right now. He's climbing up with me. I'm gonna stick, lean and bow, hopefully even turn his hips after I've won this press coverage. I've swam, I've gone right now I run my slant, and it's out the gate. If you can achieve this, you get press. He has gotten press on number 2. Well, nobody's left. I don't know what they have him doing. He's shooting, he's something, it doesn't matter. But you win right here with this swim move, and you lean back into the defender. And I haven't talked about leaning and bowing yet. Okay? So what happens at the top of this, you've won. You've got him on the outside, and your route is to the inside. I want to stick, and I want to lean into that dude. And what I'm going to do is I stick, I'm going to nod, and now I'm going to bow. And what I mean by bow is I'm going to take my elbow. I can't push off because that's offensive pass interference. But as I get on the top of this route, I'm going to lean, and I'm going to take the bottom of my elbow, and I'm going to raise it up. And as I raise it up, it's going to push against him. He's right on my hip if that's where he's at. If not, the leaning and the bowling is probably going to turn his hips enough. But if he's being right with you, he's climbed with you, he's ran right with you. At the top, I'm going to lean in, and with my elbow down, I'm going to raise that elbow up. That's going to create even more separation and allow me to get into my route. So that's a go right now. I apologize, it's getting warm in here. I'm going to turn on the AC. But that's press coverage. That's a swim move right now. Stick at the top, nod, and bow. Anytime that you've got them already where you want them, and I'll explain that more in a second, and they are at close contact with me, they're climbing in man, or maybe it's some kind of match zone, I don't know. You can lean and bow if you've already won that position. Lean and bow. Stick, head nod, lean, raise that elbow up, and that's going to create that separation. Now you can get into your route. Next, talking about taking an opposite release. These are single sticks. These are diamond releases. I probably would pick one of these and maybe 2 of these total. You've had to go right now. We're going to talk about a brush by. But while we're right here, let's talk about the brush by. So we've done the slant. Now we're going to run a 3 out. You can say, well, I've already got outside leverage on him, right? So the stem burst, stick, head nod stuff's out the window. We're looking for releases. So I've already got the leverage on the corner for the out, but he's going to be in between me and the ball. So we're running that 3-step route. I'm just going to concede that he's got me. He's collision me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm climbing up into my route. He's climbing with me. I'm not saying this is a great call. But at the top of my route, I'm going to lean and bow. I'm going to stick and nod. Apologize. Opposite. And what's going to happen here, you have the same effect. You are going to lean and bow. I'm hoping I'm making sense of this. I feel like I got confused there. Lean and bow to get that separation. I've climbed up. I've given him that leverage. Lean and bow. Stick, nod, lean and bow. Bam. And now I've got that separation and leverage. And remember, we don't drift on 90-degree routes. If anything, we're coming back and away. You say, well, man, that's not a super cool big play. I get it. But if we've beaten him and we're able to get that ball out here and we've beaten that defender, as soon as you make the catch, man, we're getting upfield. We're going to go score. We'll be an athlete. So, again, this is showing how we're going to win for the side. This is part of the stem. I know we talk about stem, burst, stick, head nod. But this so far, we're winning to the side that our route is. And we've done that by the swim route. We've already gotten this because of the alignment of the defense right here. At the top, we stick, nod, and bow. One thing that I wanted to show you, if you, especially for inside routes, this is the brush by. So again, we're going to have to make decisions, and then I'll talk about the single stick in just a second. So this starts to get a little bit deeper. This is probably more advanced. You can figure out what arrows are to go in your quiver. I'm probably, you know, if we're able to, I'm probably want to win to the side always as that receiver. If I can do that, I'm probably stronger than that guy, probably a little bit faster. So I think that's the number one approach, no matter if we get in press coverage. We know that we're going to do that in zone coverage with our stem burst stick and nod. But this is a situation where, like, I just can't get that win. I can't beat his leverage. This guy's a little bit faster than me. He's a little bit stronger. And listen, somebody's always a bigger, badder dude. But so right here, I'm not able to swim and beat this defender. I've tried it on a previous play. It didn't happen. He denies me inside. Well, if that's the case and you want to practice this is a great one. And I like this. I've done this in high school myself. This is a brush by. The brush by is super cool. I'm going to concede that he's gotten me beat. I know I can't beat him across his face to the inside. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push up my stem. I'm going to push up my stem for whatever it is. 3 steps, 4 to 5 yards. We know that's the case. I'm pushing this up. He's just driving. He's just riding me. Bam, bam, bam. So now, in this case, he's been beating me. He's been winning. Now this last step, I'm going to sink my hips. I'm going to stomp my inside foot, and I'm gonna brush him by on the lower part of his back, maybe even his hind end, and I'm gonna just push him right on by. Keep on going, fella. I'm gonna push him by, and now I'm gonna rip under him because I pushed him right by, and there's no way that he can get into that rest. So this is how a totally different way that we have run the slant. It's all 3 slant. We have taken totally different approaches depending on the coverages, depending on the leverage that the defense has given us. So I've conceded I was not able to win to the inside against this guy because he's just been beating me. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna brush him by the next time. I got the slant. I got a 5 in, 10 in, whatever. He's been right with me, hip pocket all the way up. And so whenever I got to my point, I sunk my hips and stomped. I brushed him by, cut up underneath, and I got into my slant. So his only response is one. He can circle back and try to come this way, or he's going to give you his back and then try to get back on top of this route. So this is the brush by. Typically only for inside routes. If you can't win and get the leverage by your release, give them the brush by. And you maybe other instances you see this in zone. Somebody's in the hip pocket again. We're talking about some kind of a matchup zone, which you may see. But I hope that makes sense. Again, he's denied the inside. We can't win here. We have not been able to win with the swim. So all I'm going to do is, and this is probably going to be a little bit too black and white, too vanilla, but I'm pushing him up, whatever the route is. He's climbing. Oh, he's running with me. And then bam, stomping, sinking my hips. And I'm going to brush him by. Staying low, not pass interference, ball's not in the air, whatever. Brush him by, push, allow his momentum to keep going, and then bam, I'm into my route. Again, he's either going to have to pivot, come back underneath, or give his back to the route. In either case, this now becomes that brush by. It's going to free you up against a man coverage situation, whatever it is, somebody that's matching your release. And that could potentially be types of zone. Okay, so 18 minutes in on that, trying to pick things up. So here we go. We're talking about press coverages. Press coverages slash man coverages. Here's another one. So keep all these in mind. I'm gonna always stick and nod. I'm gonna stick, nod, and I'm gonna bow. Whenever I have anybody that's in my hip pocket, anybody that's running with me, I'm gonna keep all those things. Those are all weapons that I'm gonna use. So back to that press coverage. Two more, and all that other stuff. Keep in mind. So here we go. Press coverage. He's up tight. This is called single stick. Single stick is very simple. You're going to take one step opposite, and then you're going to swim and get into your route. So here we go. He's pressing, he's jamming. I'm going hard one step opposite. He's coming with me. Bam. And at this point, it's the same deal. It's going to be like a swim. It's going to be slashed like a brush by. push him by, lower part of the back, maybe even his hind end, bam, knock him past you, let his momentum keep going, and now I'm going to cut back, swim, getting underneath, and get into my route. If he hip pockets you, he's able to recover from all this and get back, then what are you going to do? And this isn't a matter of 3 to 4 steps, keep in mind. This is going to take practice. Very easy to talk about on the board, much harder to master. We're going to master this in the yard. But he's able to get back on top right here. And what am I going to do? And at the top of my route, I'm going to stick and nod, I'm going to lean and bow, and now I'm back in my route. So we went single stick at the bottom. And now I have brushed him by, single stick brushed by. I have swam, used the swim move to get into my route. The dude's just an absolute dude. And he's able to get back with me on my route. And at the top of this, I'm gonna stick and nod, lean and bow, and there you go. This is what you should see at extremely high level college. This is what you should see going on in the NFL. Guys, whenever they're getting, I'm talking about dude on dude, studs, it's coming down to technique. And I can assure you the receivers that are winning are doing something like this. And this, again, this is just in a matter of 3 steps. But again, we're talking about when we're running, we get zero coverage, we get a cover 1, man coverage. You know, it's also anything that's over 3 steps, cut your routes down in half. But this is how you win against these types of pressure, these types of coverages. Okay, so we talked about the go right now, the swim move. We've talked about the brush by, and you think about how to make these applicable for your routes. Probably pick 1 and 2, and I've recommended again. If you can win to that side, we're going to work for that. In zone coverage, it should be easy, but against press coverage, if you can win to that side in your route right now, inside for inside routes, win to the outside, it's already given to you. For outside routes, that's probably the best case scenario. That's going to be the simplest thing to do. And at the top of those routes, at your sticking point, you're going to stick, nod, and then you're going to lean and bow. But now we also have talked about the single stick. We talked about the brush by. That's whenever you can't win. Or maybe you want to mess with them. Maybe you get really advanced. You say, I can mess with them. I'm going to give them the brush by. I'm going to show the dude that I'm going vertical. I'm going to make him think I've got to go outside. And I've got a 3-step slant. He's trying to collision me. This is where you get cute, creative. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you to do too much. You know, you're trying to show him that you're going here. And so he's running with you. Boom, 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 boom. But what do? At 3 steps, you're like, you're sinking your hips. You're stomping. You're going to brush him by. And then what are you going to do? And you're going to get underneath that. You're going to swim, rip swim, get underneath that route. And again, you've sold him on the go. You've brushed him by. You've hit him on the lower part of the back. Again, not with a fist, but you're just pushing him by on the hind end. Now you're getting underneath that route, and he's lost. He's like, where'd he go? So, the last one again was a single stick. If you get really good, you can start looking at a diamond release. The diamond release is 3 steps. And so basically in that case, the first 3 steps of your route are just simply in the opposite direction, say for a slant. This is your diamond release. We've got that press corner. Your diamond release just says, I'm going to take him in the 3 steps of the opposite direction. It's very similar to the brush by. It's going to include the brush by, and it's going to also include the rip swim. So I'm going opposite 3. 1, 2, 3. He's collisioned me. And again, all of this is for inside routes. This is for the slant. And all I'm going to do, again, it's diamond release. I'm going to push him by. I'm going to brush him by just like we've talked. Push him by lower part of the back, hind end, and now I'm going to get into that route. You're going to get a little bit of a diamond release. You know, if you can kind of picture that, you can kind of see part of that, how that happens. That's 3 steps. That's really selling and committing more to it. So there you go. That is your swim or your go right now. You're going to stick at the top, nod and bow. You got your opposite releases, which are your single stick diamond releases. You're going to include your brush bys with that. You're going to stick it at the top. You're going to nod. You're going to bow at the top. If you can't beat that defender, you can't get your leverage, whatever side it is. Look at the brush by. I don't know what it would be. What would be the case if somebody's giving me press outside? Again, it could be cover two, something like that. And he's just trying to collision me, and I've got an out route. Well, okay, we're just going to concede it. I'm pushing up for my 3-step, 4 to 5 yard out route. Man, he's just collision. He's running. I can't win that. So what I'm going to do? Just push him. Just push him by, brush him by, where he's got to continue his momentum. And now I'm going to get up underneath that route because I've brushed him by, and bam, now I can get into my route. And again, so at this point, he's got to pivot back inside, or he's got to get back over top. He's lost the defender. And what did I do? I'm kind of drifting there. Make sure you don't drift on any kind of 90-degree routes. So there you go. All right. That's another 25 minutes. Man stuff. We're going to look at some wide receiver techniques concerning well, let's just look at, we'll stop this in video number 3. I'll cover a couple more routes. I'll cover the 8 out, 10 dig, 3 hitch, 10 stop, and kind of what that looks like, depending on if you get cover 2 compared to cover 3 corners. Yeah. All right. Well, all right. We'll stop that right there, and we'll pick it up on Receiver Techs on video 3.